Hi everyone, and welcome back to the third day of Author Nation. I'm really happy to be here with Oriana Leckert, who is the head of publishing for Kickstarter.
That's me.
Yeah, so thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
How have you found the show so far?
Oh, it's delightful. It's really, really lovely.
Yeah.
A little bit exhausting, but terrific.
I'm absolutely shattered now.
Yep.
Yeah. So you mentioned before that you come back to this show?
This is my third time, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. And what's it like compared to the other years?
I like it. I mean, I've liked it every year. I come here for the people and to see, I get to do panels. I get to have so many meetings and meals. And so it's really wonderful to see the same folks year after year. Also new folks. I think the programming is excellent.
Yeah.
I think they've done a lovely job with the layout. It's really nice to have this sort of like mingle area this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they've done a terrific job.
Great. It's my first time at the show. I think it's absolutely amazing. I'd really recommend anyone to come to it. If you can. It's great. Yeah. So you're head of publishing at Kickstarter.
I am.
What does that mean?
Well, I usually describe my job as sort of one part literary industry expert, one part crowdfunding consultant, one part life coach, and one part cheerleader. Those are the various roles that I play. Yeah. My job is to be out in the world of my category, helping people figure out what Kickstarter is about, helping to set them up for success if they decide to use it.
Right. And so your specialty is authors and writers.
Yeah, totally. Right. I mean, publishing, it's mostly books, individual authors, publishers, things like that. But there's photo books, so there's photographers, there's cookbooks, so we've got chefs, there's also literary museum exhibitions, literary inspired chocolate bars, podcasts, magazines, anything really with the written word falls under my purview.
Amazing. I get so many questions about Kickstarter, so I'm really happy I'm finally got you on.
Yeah.
So you did a talk as well whilst you were here.
I did.
So what was your talk about?
I had two. I did a presentation that was sort of Kickstarter for authors, and then I did a panel, which I moderated between Willow Winters, T. Thorne Coyle, and Dana Clare from Influence, which was a real delight to get to elevate the work of those incredible folks.
Yeah, I had Willow already came on the podcast yesterday.
Willow is incredible.
Yeah, she's invited me to come to a book signing when she's in London next time. So,
cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
so I'm going to try and do that.
Oh, very nice.
So you'll talk about Kickstarter for authors. Let's go through what it was about, like the highlights and the takeaways.
I mean, do you want me to like pull up my deck? I mean,
no, we don't need to pull up deck. Just like
well, I mean, it's an hour-long talk. Just sort of like what makes Kickstarter different from other crowdfunding platforms, the sort of basics for what kind of writers use the platform, how you would set up your campaign, how you would find your audience, tips and tricks and platform trends, and our sort of product features that we're rolling out. I think those are the sort of like main buckets.
Yeah, so it's action packed.
I hope so.
Went through a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm always told I talk too fast. I'm a New Yorker, so.
Oh, I think you sound great.
Thank you.
So in your talk, let's have a think about people who haven't used Kickstarter before. What are the things they need to know in order to prepare to?
Well, I mean, the number one thing, if you're even a little bit Kickstarter curious, is back some campaigns, even just for $1.
What campaigns, sorry?
Back some campaigns, just so you can sort of get a sense of what people are doing, the tone of their updates, the organization of their story section, the type of rewards they're offering. Kickstarter is both very simple and can be as complex as you want it to be. Yeah. So taking a look at what other people are doing will help you sort of figure out the lingua franca of the platform and how it works. Yeah. The first thing to do is build your audience. Kickstarter can have an amplifying effect, but we can't do it all.
Do you mean build your audience on Kickstarter?
No, in the world.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kickstarter, our algorithm works on attention. So if you're bringing your people, it will amplify, and Kickstarter will help expose the project to a wider universe of folks who just don't know that they're your fans yet.
Okay.
An average publishing project, between like 15 and maybe 30% of your backers will come just by nature of being on Kickstarter. So you're definitely growing your audience by being on the platform, but you need to bring your people first. So community building is a crucial piece before you start. And then, you would figure out what it is that you're funding. Is it a book? Is it a series? Is it a deluxe edition of a former project? What it is that you're making. Do a very thorough budgeting. Make sure that you understand how much money you need to produce and ship anything that you're making, as well as any associated rewards. You'll work out what your rewards will be. Have your book, you'll have your, digital art, you'll have a playlist of songs that inspire you to write, you'll have higher tier stuff, you can sell off naming rights to your characters, do consultations, there's all sorts of things that you can add for your rewards. All of these will help offset the cost of printing, and they will help lower the barrier to entry to get more people involved in your project, help you on this creative journey. Then, you'll set up your page, you'll launch your project, and then you'll promote it. You'll shout from the rooftops to everyone you know or have ever thought about knowing for usually about 30 days. Hopefully you'll get all your funding, and then you get to produce your beautiful books.
Yeah. What happens if you don't get your funding target? Does the money go back to the people?
Nothing actually happens.
Right.
So money never moves on Kickstarter until after the campaign ends.
Yep.
So if once the campaign is closed, if it's been successful, Stripe, who processes our payments, will take 2 weeks to kind of pull all that money from all the different accounts. They'll take their fee, they'll send Kickstarter our fee, and then they'll give you the rest of the money.
Yeah.
So if a project doesn't reach its goal, no money has changed hands, so there's nothing to return or bother about.
Right, okay. So with authors who are using Kickstarter to generate funds for their business, are they generally offering like a better quality version of the book, like a collector's edition, or is there usually other things?
There's all kinds of things that people can author. I mean, every Kickstarter campaign has to create something new to share with the world, so you can't fund a book that's already published, but you can do new covers of an old project. You can do deluxe editions. You can also launch a new book on Kickstarter. You can do an anthology, you can do a short story collection, something in a new genre where you haven't written before. There's really no limit.
Yeah. And have you got any good examples of people you've worked with recently where their campaigns have done really well and exceeded their expectations?
Yeah, I mean, there's hundreds.
Of course.
There's been over $300 million pledged to Kickstarter campaigns in the publishing category. So, I mean, Willow, you just said she's one of our top. She's probably the second highest funded romance writer on Kickstarter right now. Yeah, I mean, there are literally hundreds of incredible.
I think Sasha Black was talking about how
Sasha does incredible. Yes. Yeah, her campaigns are great. There's so many people at this show who do Kickstarters. Dakota from Dakota Crowd. He just finished his. Russell Nolte is here. He's done 70 campaigns or something like that. Thorne, who was on my panel today, they've done a number of campaigns. This is an excellent audience for entrepreneurial authors who understand Kickstarter as an additional income stream, a way to build your community, deepen your connection with your readers.
Great. What do you think it is that sets apart those more successful campaigns? Is it just that they're bringing more traffic from their audience, or is it something else they're doing?
I mean, there's a lot of things that go into running a good campaign. Certainly, the larger your audience, or the larger of an audience who are able to attract, probably the more money you will raise. But it's also a matter of what your project is and how you've explained it, and sort of whether you're, what your avenues are for building your community, for getting people really excited about the work that you're doing.
Great. And for people who maybe are a bit nervous about putting their work out on Kickstarter, do you give any help, like from Kickstarter side, to get people up and running?
Yeah, you can certainly. We have a launch support team, so you can send your link, and people will look it over and give you some feedback on your project page. We have tons of educational resources on the publishing side. Kickstarter.com/creators/publishing. That's a tips page that I curate. So there's articles there about building your budget, writing a press release, reward ideas you haven't thought of, sort of all kinds of different elements of your journey. There's lots of help and education out there for creators.
Perfect. And are there any minimum requirements that you have for people in order to sell their books on Kickstarter?
No minimums.
Everyone?
Nope.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you for that. That's a really good overview of what you talked about. I mean, I'd love to have you get back on to talk about it properly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome.
So, how have you found Vegas? Have you been to anything fun?
Actually, we went to Arte Museum, ARTE, which is just across the street. Of course, across the street takes you 20 minutes to get to. But it was we thought it was going to be silly. It's like a light art exhibit that's sort of immersive. So it's like you're walking through ocean waves and like flower gardens. It was very beautiful, actually, really peaceful, really like well done and calming and restorative, which is not what you expect on the Vegas Strip.
No, definitely not. I'm absolutely interested. I could do a bit of calming garden.
It was wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. That was really great.
Thank you so much for having me.
See you soon.
Great.